Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full emergency light test in my garage. I've installed a full emergency light system, and at least where I am, you're supposed to test your emergency lighting annually, so once a year for 30 minutes. I know in the United States that differs and that's 90 minutes, but here in Canada it's 30 minutes that your emergency lights have to last for. And this is probably more specifically to where I am exactly, maybe not. We have to do a monthly test, and that test is not 30 minutes. It's just making sure they come on, and basically that all your lamps are working, not actually testing that your battery can supply power to those lights for 30 minutes. So let's start off by showing the emergency light setup. We have a exit sign emergency light combo over the door. This is a generic emergency light, LED heads. As you can see, there we go. I have, I believe this might be Stam Pro or something. Running Man exit sign. This one should be a Running Man exit sign. You're supposed to have Running Man signs here, but that's not. Up on the wall here we have a 6-volt emergency light. I can't remember the brand of it. It's a pretty high quality unit. LED heads. As you can see, AC power's on. It's all good. Up here, we have a 6-volt LumaCell pack. I should mention that we have our battery date on all these units. This is a, like I said, 6-volt LED. Inside the small little room in here, we've got this generic, it's branded by like Nextlight or something like that. I can't remember, but I think it's fairly generic. LED heads. We have two 6-volt LumaCell emergency lights. These came with some big incandescent heads, but I replaced them with some LED. Now these heads are supposed to be on 12-volt, but they work fine on the 6-volt too. And in this room I have a very good unit. This is a Stam Pro 6-volt unit. This guy is rated for like 4 hours. I've tested it up to 3.5 or 3, somewhere around there, and it didn't go out, so I was tired and stopped testing them. So I'm not going to be pushing these to their max because, again, I don't want to be out here for 2.5, 3 hours just watching lights. But we are going to do a 30-minute test. So let's get started. So right here we have an emergency light circuit. Now this one will do all these front ones. Those back ones I still have to put on the same circuit, but for now that did a bunch of them, and I believe that circuit did a bunch of them. This guy in here is really bright too. It lights up the area nicely if I close the door. Pretty impressive considering this can do this for about 4 hours. So, timer's counting down. Just about 10 minutes into the test, everything's looking good. Our LumaCells are still illuminated good. These guys went for, I believe it was like 2.5 hours, like 2 hours 8 minutes, 2 hours 9 minutes, maybe. That kind of rings a bell. I think that's what it was. And that was with the incandescent heads. Now our wattage has been decreased a lot, so I bet they could go for probably double that now, since the battery is sized for the larger heads. This guy in here, well, we know that thing will go for a few days. Other LumaCells doing great. This guy will also go for like 4 hours, so pretty confident in those guys. This guy, this will be its first 30-minute test. Might even be that guy's first 30-minute test. But actually that's not true. There's been a power outage, but not since this guy went in. This guy also I know will go for a good amount. And for those of you that are upset that I didn't turn off the main breaker, I'm sorry, but I want heat on, and I also still want the Wi-Fi on, and not everything off. And whenever we're doing testing in a building, you never turn off the breaker, especially if it's a large building. You don't want to be turning off like a 1600 amp breaker or something large like that just to test emergency lights. Normally you just shut off the emergency light circuits. Sometimes it can be difficult in a school though, because you'll have your emergency lights on a lighting circuit, because you can't have emergency lights on just their own circuit, because if that gets tripped, lots of times people won't know. You can have emergency lights on an exit sign circuit, and you can have emergency lights on a lighting circuit. You just can't have them on a circuit that has common use receptacles or any other thing. But they can be on a lighting circuit. And exit signs can also be on a lighting circuit too. You can have all those three, but you just can't have exit signs or emergency lights on a receptacle circuit. But in a commercial building, you don't really ever see receptacles on a lighting circuit anyways. Less now in residential too, since AFCI protection's required on like pretty much everything at this point. Halfway there. Everything's still good. 10 minutes left. Pneuma cells are still going strong, but we knew that would happen. This guy, why am I even checking on it? We know it's good. This guy's still good. Our guy in here might be a little dimmer, but I don't think so. Might just be my imagination. Maybe a tiny bit. Still looks pretty good though. These guys are still good. Oh yeah, and this isn't a fire alarm test, because they have to go for 24 hours. And I'm not sure. I guess you do some sort of load calculation. Not too experienced with that. These guys are still good. Check back in when our 30 minutes is up. Alright, it's been 30 minutes. As you can see, all of our lights are good. So, we can turn on our breaker. There we go. Last thing I did was label our emergency light test. Right here, we have February 4th, 2021, 3-minute. Everything's good. Okay guys, a little quick one for today, but I hope you still enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.